What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Sunday morning edition of Morning Scone, presented by Boudreaux's Bloody Mary Mix, Margarita Mix. Maybe this is one of those days where getting out and about, having some brunch, or maybe you're going to have some brunch at the house. That Bloody Mary Mix, from what I understand, is fantastic. I don't know because I don't drink Bloody Marys, but if it's anything like the Margarita Mix, then I'm going to go ahead and guess that it's pretty spectacular. And I do appreciate everyone who has ordered it. If you live out of town and had it shipped, boudreauxmix.com, boudreauxmix.com. Boy, it's a little close, huh? I probably need to zoom out on that camera a little bit. Hang on. Hey, bud. Drew's here. Fired up about that.
Howdy,
Spend this morning with my boy.
Howdy, Bo.
And then we'll go to Howdy, Bo. Right? You want to say hi to everybody? Say hi. Oh, you don't want to say hi. Okay. Okay, you see Daddy on the screen. All right. Calico. The sweetest little smile, man. Seat. You did go in Papa's seat. He rides in Papa's truck. Papa's a big red truck. And Drew rides in the seat. All right, let's say some good morning, y'all. Jeb, good morning. George, good morning. I bet a lot of y'all we talked to just a few hours ago on whiskey and wine, but slept on it. Let's see what y'all think this morning. Tom Guidros, John Miller, good morning. What's up, Dad? Good morning. Corey Gotro, Ben Clark, Everett Himmel, Bruce Parker, Ryan Amos, Brett Villar, Stephen Hoogie, Kerry Tomplay, good morning. Tara Smith Shelton, Danny Brabham. What's up, everybody? Chipper Noel, Jeremy Aldridge, Charlie Gale. Good to see everybody here. Jason Hatcher, what's up? Kirk Taylor, what's up? Danny Braywick, what's up? What? All right? You saying all right? Wow, that's pretty good. It's a new one, Drew. All white. All right. Chuck Sanchez, what's up? Kevin Graham. Good to see everybody here. Joe Carpenter, Mark Allen. Look at this. Let me go ahead and I'm going to hit the share button, share it to my personal profile. Hopefully y'all will do the same. Shares help. It's how you grow these Facebook things, man. Hit the share button. It's the only way it'll populate other people's timelines. So shares help. Let's see. Kirk, is Drew still upset LSU didn't cover? Man, I totally understand what Brissett is thinking. What? All right.
Mama.
Hodibo. I totally understand what Brissett's thinking. And after the game, he said, it's situational football. I'm trying to win the game, not pad my stats. Cool. And I respect that. I really, really do respect it. But, just fundamentally, he's wrong in that situation. And I don't care about, I did not bet on the game. I don't care about the cover. But I do have an issue sometimes, with guys not scoring. Because just fundamentally, if you make it a 2-score game, it's more unlikely that they will beat you than if it's a 1-score game. I mean, you go down, you have to snap the football again. What if you fumble the snap? What if there's a sack and a scoop and a score? What if you have a penalty? There's a million goofy things that could happen. They didn't attach. But if you go in the end zone, then they have to score twice with no timeouts. Fresh market. But Calandros has butchers. But it's just you're just talking about probability at that point. So I'm totally all for being a team guy, and yeah, but it's just wrong. Go up 2 scores. If it were a 1-point game and you score and that makes it 8, totally, because now you're no better off. It's still a 1-possession game. So if it's a 1-point game, yeah, go down, end the game. But because you can make it 2 possessions, absolutely, in that situation you score. Anyway, and then LSU tried to score at the end. You know what I mean? So it's so Brissett doesn't try to score, and then they're faced with the question, okay, do we take a knee or do we score? And they try to score. It's okay, well, clearly the coaches wanted you to score there to make it 2 scores. Anyway, it's all. I mean, they won. It's all good, but I think you got to score there. All right, Bob Kubrick. Good morning, Frank Perniciaro, Steven Martinez. What's up, Jeremy Aldridge, Whitney Bro. Good morning, Tim Saunier. Not an impressive win last night, but a win. I can't understand why we keep running the screen pass. It fools no one. Some teams are really good at running screens. Some teams aren't. I'm okay with running screens, but the setup has to be there. And my guess is, and I don't know because obviously I don't watch like film with opposing teams or whatever. Excuse me. Did y'all all yawn? My guess is LSU's got some tell, like they're tipping their hand on screens some way. Saw it last night again where line stayed home and either formationally or the lineman or somebody's tipping it, because if the defensive line stays home, they'll just fire the ball on the ground. I mean, that's, you know for sure that play got blown up. And then to not really have another outlet, whatever. I can understand. Live to play another down. All right, Corey Gautreau, Brandon Brazel, good morning. All right, Lowell Cormier, good morning. Big shout out to our veterans today. Amen. Thank you for your service. Well said. Well said, Lowell. Thank you. Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans today. Aren't we? So today's November 11th. Aren't we like formally celebrating it tomorrow, though? Even though today is Veterans Day, I don't know that we've like formally celebrated on a Sunday, like the federal holiday. But sincerely, yes. Thank you to all the veterans. Cameron Tarleton, 10-2. They got a shot, man, for sure. They'll beat Rice. It's going to come down to A&M. We talked about this a little bit on Whiskey and Wine last night with Jordy. If LSU plays the way they did last night, like, in College Station, they got problems. A&M's been much better at home this year than they've been on the road, and the one thing that A&M really struggles with is pass defense, and LSU can't throw the ball. So unless if you decide you're going to go and like that should have been last night, that your get right night offensively against a terrible defense, and you chose to not do that. Anyway, Michael Engeron. Good morning, Kevin Graham, Chipper Noel, Scott Borch, Kevin Freelou, Kevin Harrell. What's up? All right, let's see. Jimmy Vadreen. Good morning, everybody. Get to y'all's questions if you got them. Fire away. David Wall. What's up? Clayton Wolf. Jeff Brenner. What's up, Jeff Brenner? Jordy Bird. Let's see. Happy Veterans Day. Shout out to the ones that allow the opportunity for us to watch LSU still not having offense and underperform against dreadful teams. Oh, man. Kevin Harrell said this is the same as Les Miles. If you think anything else, you're fooling yourself. I can appreciate some of the attempts to be creative. There was a play. Here's my chart. On the last possession of the first half, they had a 3rd and 1. They went into a power run formation. They threw the quick slant to Jamar Chase. That was creative. And because everybody was at the line, if Chase breaks a tackle, he's gone. It was well covered, but a really good catch by Chase. Now, I can't understand why in the world they don't throw the ball to Jamar Chase more. I can't understand why Terrace Marshall isn't on the field more. And you can say, well, they don't know the offense. Simplify it. This is game 10. That's on you as a coach if you can't find a way to get freak athletes on the field. That's on you. So I'm not. That always annoys me. That's on you as coaches. Be better. And then the other one, they came back actually first drive of the second half. They had a 3rd and 2, went back to the quick slant. It was incomplete. That's when they went 3 and out to start the second half. But then there was another one when they had where is it? It was on the last drive when they were running out the clock. They had that 2nd down play, and they threw the little flare pass to Torrey Carter. I'm going, hold on. It's a 1-score game. It's 24-17. There's under 6 minutes to play. You're trying to run out the clock. And you got 2nd and 8. And you throw the ball to the fullback in the flat? Who hadn't touched the ball all game? I mean, it was different. They got 2 yards on it. But that could have just as easily been tipped up and deflected and intercepted. Whatever, y'all. Cole Tracy made his kick. The one thing I was interested in is that they did not elect to kick when they had a chance to make it a 2-score game late. When they punted. No, I'm sorry, they went for it on the 4th down and got stuffed on 4th and 1. And then, of course, Arkansas went down and scored. Thanks in large part to the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on Kerry Vincent. Robert. Hey, what is that? This little block you got there, bud?
Big block.
That's not a big block. That's just a block. Who's on that block? Huh? Is that Mimi Lolita? Huh? Is it Mimi Lolita?
Home Depot.
Home Depot. That's not Home Depot. That's a block. Here you go. Here you go. Okay. Mimi Lolita is one of Drew's nurses from Texas Children's in the NICU. Let's see, Mimi Lolita. Erica makes these blocks for him with pictures, so he can work on like we can work on names and learn names of people that he knows and sees, and so these are some of his nurses. That's Lolita, Daisy, and Jamie. Those are some of his nurses from the NICU. They come to his birthday party every year. If you can see them there, so they're awesome ladies. They're great. Love them very much. They've been great to our family. Let's see. Jeb, like y'all said last night, these are not the expectations. Scrolled past Jeb. Sorry about that, man. Yeah, let's see. Mark Allen. Why is an LSU fan? I have the feeling the offense will never change. Because you're still the same people running the program. Like you just have to have somebody in charge who thinks that there has to be a fundamental change, and until that comes either with the athletic director hiring a coach that has that mindset, or the head coach has that mindset and hires his offensive coordinator in kind. I think when Ed was hired, like the day he was hired, when he talked about we're going to get the best offensive coordinator, he said, if you go back and listen, he said, I do believe nowadays you have to have a mobile quarterback who can run it and throw it. And it's when he thought he was getting Lane Kiffin here, and that didn't work, so then he just had to reassess. I mean, every comment he made on that day was based on his assumption or that he was getting Lane Kiffin to come be his offensive coordinator. That didn't happen, so he's had to sort of reassess. And I do wonder how it could have gone with Matt Canada if he had just absolutely been hands-off and let him run that offense. I don't know if it would have worked, but it sure would have been different. Give Matt a few years to work, but Ed couldn't get along with him. So fresh market. So Ed did what was comfortable, and what's comfortable is not always what's best. So anyway, Rusty said it all. Casey McKenzie, what's up, dude? Charles Maranto, good morning. That's a good question. Craig says, why do we keep running Giles out there? Done absolutely nothing all season. Probably cost 60 yards of field position, but not running up and catching punts. He's absolutely right about that. On the first punt of the game, so Arkansas got the ball, goes 3 and out. They punt. The ball bounces at the Arkansas 43 or 43 and bounces into LSU territory, and they down at the LSU 45. I mean, that's 12 yards of field position right there, just by not running up and fielding the punt. I agree completely. And then the next one, he muffed. If he's only back there, like you say, all right, we don't need a dynamic return. We just need you to field it and catch it, and not have any hidden yardage lost there. Well, he's not even doing that now. So I understand the Giles conversation, and the people have the conversation about the 7 jersey, whatever. The reality is, the kid's just not that good of a player. I don't mean to be rude about it. He's just I just don't think that's outlandish at this point. He's not a super dynamic player that you would think of when you put him back there to go make plays. So, I mean, I don't know how you don't say, hey, all right, show of hands, who returned punts in high school, and then try guys back there, man. Run. Clyde Edwards-Helaire did it at Catholic. I know that. I mean, John Trey Kirkland's dynamic. You're trying to find ways to get him involved. Try him, What about Terrace Marshall? Put some of those guys back there, man. Let's see it. Casey, what bowl projection if they went out? Thanks. It would depend on, so it's not as cut and dried as that. It kind of depends on what other teams do. So, like the highest ranked, in the college football playoff standings, the highest ranked SEC team not in the playoff goes to the Sugar. So theoretically, that could be LSU if Bama and Georgia both make the playoff. LSU could go Sugar. If Georgia goes 11-1, loses the SEC championship game, but is ranked higher than LSU, then Georgia goes to the Sugar. If Georgia loses the SEC championship game, they're a two-loss team. LSU's a two-loss team. LSU ranks higher than Georgia, then LSU goes to the Sugar. But if LSU ends up 10-2, they'll be high enough to be in the playoff or in the New Year's Six, and they would very likely, I would think, go to either they would either go to the Peach or the Fiesta Bowl. Home Depot, and that would depend on. What? What? Attach is on in there. You can go watch it. Go watch Attach. You want to come give Daddy a hug? Attach? Give Daddy a hug. Albertsons. You want to give Daddy a hug? Albertsons. Let me sit with Daddy. Oh, I love you. I love you. Are your feet cold?
Mom,
Oh, you got footies on. You got footies on. Clap hands for
Mama.
Mama comes home. Mama plays clap hands for Drew alone. I love you. Mama takes Drew to Home Depot. Okay, you want to read some questions from some people? Let's read some questions from some people, okay? Carrie, what's up? Good to see you this morning. Jeremy Osterberger, good morning. Hey, Beth DeVille, good morning to you. The last time I saw LSU play this bad was a loss to Florida. Well, Everett, at least they won the game. But you're right.
Mama.
You know, even still, even still, I'd say the loss to Florida. LSU, they didn't play terribly in the sense that, like, I don't think it was a bad game plan or bad execution. They just had some penalties and they had turnovers. I mean, they had 100 yards of penalties and 3 turnovers, including the pick 6. That's why they lost to Florida. Last night was just a sloppy mess. Craig Schilling, Andrew Bear, Case King, good morning. Chris Roy, good morning. All right, Kevin Kelly. Burrow was 15-21. He made some good throws last night. Screens didn't work, but I thought it was his most accurate outing. You know the thing, like, I don't remember them at any point trying to push the ball downfield. Like, I don't think they took shots. But they did use the middle of the field, and I do like that, man. There were plays to be had in the middle of the field if you'll take them, and Jefferson had a few last night. We talked about the quick slant to Chase. But the thing that kind of gives me pause, honestly, y'all, is, I've just watched enough Arkansas. That's a terrible pass defense. I mean, everybody's moved the ball on them through the air. And, Burrow's completion percentage was good, but, like, you saw it on the Jefferson touchdown, right? Like, the first touchdown. I mean, Jefferson was like one move and he was gone. I mean, nobody was with him. Arkansas is just so bad. And the fact that you couldn't exploit that more to the point where there were 8 punts in the first quarter. I mean... Mama. They just... That should have been a game that you could have exploited that early, scored a lot, and not had to worry about it being so close. But then, man, they got up 24-3 and just took their foot off the gas. Cameron Gober, good morning. Let's see. Will Weathers, good morning. Hopefully David Brandon brings Kendall Briles to coach the offense next season. Mike Edwards, good morning. Top 5 OCs on your wish list. Brian Arsenault, good morning. A, B, C, D.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. I don't know if I could name 5 for you. because I don't think you need to get down to number 5 if you're LSU and you're willing to pay 7 figures to coordinators. If Ed decides he's going to make a change at OC, like we had this conversation last night on Whiskey and Wine. Someone's like, "Y'all keep bitching. Just what would you do? Like, give me a suggestion." And I said, "Okay, well, go to Houston and hire Kendall Browse as your offensive coordinator." I mean, everywhere he goes, he's led explosive offenses that lead the country in total offense and scoring and all that sort of stuff. Hire Kendall Browse. You keep Steve on staff. You keep him in a co-OC role or however you want to do it. Move and coach tight ends again or whatever. I'm moving Mickey Joseph out, and probably Jerry Sullivan, my guess, is retires after this year. And you go hire Michael Smith from Arkansas, who's a New Orleans guy, I think Jesuit guy, can recruit New Orleans for you. Elmo Ducks. And can coach your receivers. Ernie. 1, 2, 3. That's what I do. Or I'd hire Dan Enos, who was a guy who was very high on when they hired Matt Canada. Enos was the OC at Arkansas under Bielema. And look, they ended up developing Brandon Allen into a really good player. He was head coach at Central Michigan, had some success there. He's a quarterbacks coach at Arkansas right now. At Alabama right now. Those would probably be my two best choices. Fresh Market. Home Depot. Hey, Alicia. Lily's watching. Lily haircut. Yep. She's watching us right now. That's my sister. Wow. Rodney Njoka, good morning. Mama. Ryan Amos, good morning. Jeb should be called Joe Burry. Let's see. Thomas Trahan, good morning. Paul Blanchard. David Alello, what's up, y'all? Tom, this offense drives me crazy. Yeah, man, it's not fun to watch. I get it, man. It's we're having a lot of the same conversations that we had for a lot of the years under Les. It's just, it's you realize that the offense is not fun to watch. It's not progressive. It feels like a struggle, but LSU still finds a way to win more games than they lose, and you're still not gonna win the games you need to win to be competing for championships again. So, what are you? It's just a question of what do you want to be? Do you want to be a team that wins 9 games or 10 games and goes to a nice bowl game, but isn't going to get, like I had this conversation last night with T-Bob, and I said, man, I brought up that Auburn has beaten. What, baby? Elmo Duck? Elmo what? 1, 2. So, look, man, Auburn's beaten Alabama 3 times since 2013. It's not a ton, but my point is it can be done. So 3 in the last 5 years. 3 of their last 5 guys. I don't think they'll beat them this year. But Auburn has won 3 of their last 5 against Alabama. And T-Bob said, well, yeah, what did that get them? Well, it got them an SEC title, 2 SEC West titles, so 2 appearances in the SEC championship game, and an appearance in the national championship game, where they were 13 seconds away from winning the damn thing. I would take that over LSU in that span, going to an Outback Bowl and a Music City Bowl and a Texas Bowl and a couple of Citrus Bowls. Is that even a question? Seat. And the point is, until you can win that game, you're never going to get back to Atlanta and be competing for those things again. So it shouldn't be hard to figure. Just what do you want to be? I mean, that's. I mean, like if I realistically said, okay, would you rather over the last go to 2013 when Auburn won the SEC and played Florida State for the national championship. Go to 2013. Would you rather have LSU's record of success or Auburn's record of success? Like, I'm taking Auburn's. And LSU's had more success against Auburn, But because Auburn's managed to beat Alabama, they've had those years where they've gone to Atlanta and they've played for championships. I mean, last year they beat Bama and Georgia. Had to go play Georgia again, which sucked for them. I get it, but lost. But still, they got to Atlanta. LSU hadn't been to Atlanta since 2011. I mean, yeah, I'll take that. I would take that in a heartbeat. Anyway. Joe Juba. Hey, sorry I fell asleep if we managed to score a touchdown yet. They scored a couple yesterday. Fresh market. Yeah, Joe, they scored a couple. Let's see, Meridoc. Matt, if we play like we played last night, I don't see us beating A&M. It was such a weird game last night. It was. And, so understand. So here's the other part that I've brought up too. I keep saying, it's hard to play on the road in the SEC. So think about LSU's SEC road games this year. LSU just came off a stretch where they were at home for a month. Before last night, the last time LSU played on the road would have been Florida, which feels like a lifetime ago. But LSU's road games this year, Auburn, which is a 5-loss team right now, and they led you by 10 in the fourth quarter, and you had a nice comeback but won it. Florida, which you lost, and Arkansas, which we saw last night was ugly. It's hard to go on the road in the SEC and win. So, yeah, they got to get their stuff together against A&M because A&M has a really good rush defense. The way LSU finally gave themselves breathing room yesterday was a 14-play drive where they ran it 13 times. You will not do that against Texas A&M. Their run defense is too good. You cannot do that against that defense. Their pass defense is vulnerable. Can LSU go on the road and throw the ball? On what will probably be a cold night in College Station. And I don't know I'm not optimistic about it. So, see, man. I think that's going to be a game where it's, hey, Dave Aranda, scheme up some pressure, confuse Kellen Mond, force some turnovers, and see how Dave Aranda and Jimbo Fisher do head on head. Yeah. Let's see. Mark Demelin, good morning. Chris Roy, good morning from Atlanta. Hey, Chris, appreciate that, man. So remember, everybody who's watching from outside of the Baton Rouge area, BoudreauxMix.com. You can order it online. Great Louisiana product. BoudreauxMix.com. Let's see. Kenneth McCown, do you think they make a change at OC at the end of the year? If you ask me today, no. I don't. Steve Ensminger signed a 2-year contract at $800K per year. I don't think they make a change after this year. I do think they will have offensive staff turnover. There have been some rumblings about and understand, I'm not saying anybody's going to get fired. It's just every year, I literally can't remember a year where there was no staff turnover. It's just when you have 10 full-time assistants, in such a transient profession, guys leave. I mean, it's just seed for one reason or another. They get a better opportunity. A position coach, like Grimes last year, was at LSU for a long time, really good offensive line coach. He became the offensive coordinator at BYU. Cool, right? I mean, that it happens. Pete Jenkins retired again. So spots open. I wouldn't be surprised if Tommy Robinson moved on, maybe try to jump to the NFL, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if Jerry Sullivan retires. So I think you could have 2 offensive staff spots open. I don't know for sure. No, those kinds of things happen at the end of the year. But I wouldn't be surprised if one or both of those happened. So I think you'll have a chance to have some new blood, new ideas in your offensive staff. We'll see what direction they go and if it matters. What, Bubba?
Peekaboo.
Peekaboo. Let's see. Bama and now Arkansas had big pass plays over the middle. Can't tell if the DBs are stopping on routes. That's a good question, Craig. The other thing I'll say, and I don't know, but this is something I'll ask, Hester or Gorey, because they get to watch game film and they get the all 22 coaches cut, and I'll ask those guys their opinions. But remember last night you had no battle. Todd Harris got hurt. Fulton got hurt. Kelvin Joseph went down as well. So you ended up playing a lot of Terrence Alexander. Kerry Vincent kicked down to the other corner opposite Greedy. So you were just thin on numbers last night. So I'm not really terribly surprised that they had some mistakes in the secondary last night, just given their numbers. All right, let's see. Pete, you and Jordy ripped the O-line at halftime. When they came back for the second half, the two announcers praised the O-line. Weird. I don't know what they were watching, bro. I thought, especially in the first half, O-line struggled. I mean, they had 8 straight punts. Between the teams, LSU went punt. LSU went punt, touchdown. That was a 40-yarder to Jefferson. Punt on 3 and out. Punt, and on that drive, that was when they had back-to-back sacks on 2nd and 3rd down. Then LSU went on the 14-play drive. Like, after the back-to-back sacks and punt, that's when LSU went on the 14-play drive where they ran it 13 times. Steve finally said, screw it. We're not throwing the ball. Just run. They threw it one time. And then the next time they got it, they went 3 and out, and they had a 3rd and 2. They converted that 3rd and 2 and then punted. And then the next time they had the balls when Burrow got hit and fumbled right before the end of the half. So, I mean, I don't know if they were praising him. I don't know what they were watching, man. That was a pretty miserable half, except for the drive where they ran it 13 times. They're just like, all right, we know we're bigger and better than you. We're just going to just run it right at you. And that's great. You can do it against them. You're not going to do that against A&M. Like, you will not have that in your arsenal against Texas A&M because their run defense is really good. Kevin, I love your kid. He and my son will get along just fine. Cool, man. Thanks. Imad Ricky, fire the AD, head coach O. I don't think they're going to fire the AD, and I don't think they're going to fire the coach who wins 9 or 10 games this year. I don't think either of those things are going to happen. So, I think it's just a matter of what does Ed want to do, you know? Kevin said a win is a win. I just disagree with that, man. I mean, in the sense that, yes, it's a win in the column and all that stuff, but I also don't think every game needs to be a referendum on the program. But now you're getting a large enough sample, though, right? Where you can say, okay, you've seen 10 games now with what this offense looks like, and it's like, you know what? It ain't great. And it couldn't move against Alabama again, and it struggled to put away Arkansas, and it really struggled against a good Mississippi State defensive front. You can blame the conditions and all. There's probably some validity there. You know, there just haven't been a ton of really great moments for this offense, man. Anyway, all right. Kenneth Poirier, good morning. Chad Coward, good morning. Let me ask it to you this way. All right, legitimate question. What if Dave Aranda leaves at the end of this year? What if you don't have the best defensive coordinator in football next year? What happens to this team? That's a scary thought, man. Because anytime you have to go make a new hire, there's always a chance you miss. There's always a chance that you miss. Nobody makes a hire thinking that this is going to be terrible. Everybody makes a hire thinking that this is perfect, exactly what we need. It doesn't always work, though. So what if Dave leaves and leaves for a head coaching job, and you have to replace him? What do? Does Ed go hire a buddy? Does he promote Meatball? I don't know. You know? And you regress defensively. No Devin White, no Greedy. Next year, and you regress a bit defensively. You don't have Dave Aranda. What happens when your defense can't compensate for a struggling offense? When you have to go score 35 a game, and you can't do it. Brandon Browning, what's up? Kevin Toller, Chris Robert, good morning. Let's see. Bo Roberts, D-line needs better coaching. Dennis Johnson ain't the answer. Who do you bring in to replace him? I think Ed hired, we talked about this last night as well in Whiskey and Wine. Ed hired Dennis because when he was interim, and they had some turnover on staff, Dennis did a good job for him, and he was kind of assisting Pete Jenkins, but they like him as a recruiter. And sometimes, and I get it, sometimes you need spots on staff for recruiters. that it's why Mickey Joseph is on the staff. Mickey Joseph is on the staff because he's a great receivers coach. Mickey Joseph is on staff because you need someone dedicated to recruit New Orleans. So I get why he's on staff. The problem is you're losing kids out of New Orleans and you still can't coach. So, or the position you're trying to coach. So, but yeah, I mean, the thing that bothers me about D-line is, hey, bud, there's been this sort of, I'm going to do some research today or tomorrow about like the defensive line recruiting rankings and put side by side LSU's and Alabama's, because man, like, you can say LSU hasn't been recruiting as well. It's not true. I mean, Rashard Lawrence was a 5-star that everybody wanted. Ed Alexander had picked LSU over Bama, like everybody wanted him. Tyler Shelvin was the number 1 player in the state. Like, you've got guys that were highly coveted, highly sought after. Now, when they're here, it's on you to develop them and make them great. And I think that's where maybe there's been a little bit of a dip. Anyway, but I want to see that. Like, I mean, you missed on guys, right? Like Fedarian Mathis, who's at Alabama, was North Louisiana kid that you wanted. Isaiah Buggs is at Bama, is a kid you wanted. But it's not just a Bama problem. But you've got guys that were highly recruited and rated, and when they get here, you got to develop them, man. Man, I just saw Scott Sanders' name pop up on there. What's up, Sandman? Good to see you, dude. James Thompson. Might as well bring back Cam Cameron. Please don't say that, dog. Jonathan Tillman. The coaches seem to coach really scared on offense, scared to make mistakes. Carlos Brown. The franchise. Ben Giat. What's up, y'all? I don't know that. I don't. Coaching scared, coaching smart. However you want to say it, like. Elma Ducks. I mean.
Home Depot.
It's Home Depot. It's tough. It's like, what do you do? Hey. What? Hey, bud. What? Uh-oh. Hey, I'm going to move that over there so everybody can see you. Hey, nobody wants to hear you fuss. Nobody wants to hear you fuss. Hey, after Dad's show, we'll go to Albertsons, okay? Albertsons. All right. Let's see. Kirk Long, good morning. Jonathan Tillman, LSU just doesn't have a modern offense. Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson, these teams are in the playoffs every year because they have explosive offenses based on modern schemes and progressive ideas. Yes, exactly. And I've been shouting that from the rooftops, and many people are receptive to it. And there are some people, however, that just continue to say, hey, man, they're 8-2. What do you want? I want them to have a modern progressive offense that can actually achieve something of significance and not just win games against teams that you should be because you have better talent. That's what I want. I want to see LSU back in Atlanta in the SEC championship game. I want to see LSU in the playoff with a chance to legitimately win. I want to see LSU stop losing to Bama for a decade. What, buddy? Marsha? Who?
Marsha.
Dad show?
Marsha.
I don't know what you're saying, baby. I'm sorry. Well, he's so happy. Marsha, I don't know what he's saying. Carl Dunn, good morning. Jonathan Tillman, no one on the team can feel punch except Giles. We've gotten that one a bunch. I agree. It's time. It's well past time, but the fact that they haven't made that change tells you that maybe they don't feel confident anyone else can get back there and field a punt. But Giles muffed one yesterday. I mean, at some point you gotta. What, buddy? The itsy bitsy spider. Let's see. Stephen Hugie, thoughts on Tua? I think he's phenomenal. Saw him take that hit on the helmet on the knee yesterday. There is 0.0% chance if I'm Nick Saban that I play Tua next week against the Citadel. He gets the whole week off. Play him against Auburn. As much as you need him or don't need him, if he's hurt, sit him. You still got Jalen Hurts. It's one of the reasons why everyone said Hurts will transfer, and I was like, you're always a play away, man. You're always just a play away as a quarterback. I get why guys don't want to sit and wait and all that stuff, but you're always a play away. Let's see. Chris Merrill, good morning. Darren Bourgeois. Greg Wood, good morning, everybody. If you're just joining us, you haven't yet, and you wouldn't mind hitting the share button, I'd appreciate it. It's a big help. Also, Boudreaux. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to share this to the ESPN page as well. See if we can pick up some people maybe watching the ESPN page that don't watch us. Let's see. And post. Done. That's true. Brandon Lejeune, Penny Hardaway Tuesday night. Going to be exciting at the PMAC. True. Penny Hardaway, the Memphis Tigers come in. Excited to see that, man. I didn't realize I was wearing this, but yeah. I will wait for you. Let's go Tigers. Kurt Hudson, good morning. Let's see, Jamie. Late to the party. I'm sure it's been talked about. Tired of max protection offense. It hasn't worked at all. Tell the Truth Monday should include this, not about the players. Yeah, I don't know what more we could say about the offense. I mean, I'm looking at my notes. There just wasn't a lot to love last night. I mean, even when they got ahead, I thought defensively, Aranda did a great job dialing up pressure. Kerry Vincent got a sack on the first possession. Delpit had a sack on a delayed blitz. Glenn Logan had a sack as well on delayed pressure where he wiggled free and got a sack. I mean, there were some things in that game defensively. I thought Kerry Vincent's interception was awesome last night. It was a terrible throw and a better throw the kid might have scored. And I thought Jordan Rogers did a good job explaining why you throw it to the logo and you let him run under it instead of throwing it by the hash, which allowed Vincent to come back and get it. It's a bad throw by a really average quarterback, but still a beautiful catch by Kerry Vincent in a spot where they were trying to rally. The unsportsmanlike conduct by Kerry Vincent was stupid. Actually, that tackle, or the missed tackle by Greedy on the last touchdown that made it 24-17. If you go back and watch it, Greedy could have tackled. He went Deion Sanders on him. Made a business decision. Didn't wrap up, kind of threw his shoulder and just O'Grady bounced off of him, got in. LSU had a chance to put the game away on a 4th and 1. Clyde Edwards-Helaire got stuffed. Arkansas got the ball back. 19-yarder on 2nd and 1. Then Kerry Vincent had the unsportsmanlike conduct. Before you know it, it's a 7-point game. I love the play call to Jefferson at the beginning of the game. I was on the second drive, the 40-yarder. I was super optimistic that with that, they were going to open it up. Offensively, they didn't. Oh, Michael Divinity had the sack and the forced fumble as well. And then LSU gave it right back. Literally on the first play, LSU gave it right back. But that's the issue that LSU's had offensively. Anyway. Brian Robert, after the Bama loss, I'll take the win yesterday. Previous years after Bama loss. I know what you're saying. Ed's been better in that spot, man. The last 2 years, they won 38-10 and 33-10. Last night felt like old times against Arkansas. Craig, I agree with what you're saying, Scone, but most people didn't think LSU would win 6 games. Seriously, I don't think most people thought that. Most people were saying 7-5, 8-4, and I was in the 7-5 crowd, as you all know. And they got a chance to get to 10, and that's great. But in part, you got to understand, when you're making preseason projections, it's based on 2 things: what you know about teams, like who has the most questions or the most answers, the most certainties, and then what type of schedule you're facing. And it's time that we have this conversation realistically about what we thought LSU's schedule was and what it's turned out to be. Miami, that they were the 8th ranked team in the country when you played them. Miami lost again last night. They're 5-5. That's a bad football team. Miami's a bad football team. So you can walk around and say, but they have a top 10 win. That's nobody in the committee is gonna sit in, like, the playoff committee is gonna sit in that room and say, but look, LSU has a top 10 win over Miami. No, they don't. Like, they have a win over a Miami team that needs to win another game to get to bowl eligibility. Auburn has 5 losses and they got to face Bama. Like, Auburn is probably going to end up going 6-6 this year. I mean, that was a top 10 road win, but actually that's a 500 football team. So you see what I'm saying? Like, you go back to the start of the season when you have these preconceived notions about things, and T-Bob and I were having this conversation yesterday, and he said, man, that's revisionist history. No, it's not. It's actually a more educated opinion now because I got a 10-game sample of these teams instead of when I had a no-game sample, or it was the first or second game of the season. Like, now I've seen them play for 10 games, and I realized, yeah, they're not that good. Like, that's the reality. It's one of those things where if there were no polls until the very end of the season, nobody would think much of those wins. So I mean, look. Anytime you go on the road and win at Auburn, I'm happy for it, man. The win over Miami was dominant. That's great. But if you're just talking about like that and projections from 3 months ago, well, no, people thought Miami was going to be good. They're not. I thought Auburn would be better. They're not. They've had a real struggle. Auburn ran the ball for 19 yards last week. Just what it is. Let's see. Joe Oliva can't afford Dave Aranda to leave. That's not really a Joe Oliva thing. That's just does Dave Aranda want to go be a head coach somewhere? I really think it's that simple. I think last year was your case in point that Dave's not going to leave for a DC job. I mean, he was this close to taking the A&M job. LSU offered him a bunch of money and his family didn't want to leave. They'd moved a bunch, they got young kids, and ultimately that's what it came down to. His wife didn't want to move again. And he's happy here, likes working for that's great. Attach. Another year passes. What if he gets a Power 5 head coaching offer? Does he take it? Home Depot. You like going there? You want to see how Dad does lap? You want to say hi to everybody here on the show? What? You want me to hold you? The itsy bitsy. Elma does.
Mama.
Bum, 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 bum.
Papa. Mimi.
Mimi. I love you. I love you. Love you. Love you. Love you. Love you. Lily haircut. Lily haircut. I love you. I love you. Love you, love you, love you. Love you.
Happy birthday to
Happy birthday to you. Listen, happy birthday. Happy birthday
you.
to you.
Happy birthday
Happy birthday
to you.
to you. Happy birthday, dear. Who? Grammy. It was Grammy's birthday. It's not Robert's birthday. Happy birthday to you. It was Grammy's birthday last week, wasn't it?
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Very good.
Mommy.
It's not Mommy's birthday.
Daddy.
It's not Daddy's birthday either.
Mama.
It's not Momo's birthday.
Home Depot.
It's not Home Depot's birthday either. Did you just kiss your block? Who did you give a kiss to? Oh, that was Mama and Papa. Oh. Gave him a kiss. Derek, if Dennis Allen leaves the Saints after this year, maybe Payton gets Aranda as a DC. That would be interesting to see if Aranda wanted to go be an NFL DC. Hey, Nancy, good morning. Jamie Levine, has Dwayne been banned from AFR? Nope, he's been offshore. So he called a few weeks ago, but he's been offshore. better believe we'll hear from the week of the A&M game. LSU needs an OC that has a creative offensive mind. I agree.
Home Depot.
Home Depot. Or just a modern that'll run a modern offense.
Mama.
What?
Mama.
What about Mama? Oh, is that Mama? Who hey, who is that? Who is that?
Marshall.
What?
Marshall.
That's Mama.
Marshall.
Art show.
Home Depot.
Home Depot. Kid likes to go to Home Depot and ride in little buggies. What can I say? Pete Giardino said, "Is that an Orioles batting helmet?" Yankee Pride. That is a that is an autographed Cal Ripken Jr. helmet. Yes, that's what that is. It has nothing to do with Yankee Pride. I got that whenever Cal Ripken broke the Iron Man streak. 1996, September 6th, 1996. Cal Ripken broke that streak. Home Depot. Yes, that's an autographed Cal Ripken Jr. batting helmet is what that is. Keith Rosenbach. Larry Daigle, good morning. Home Depot. Grammy was watching and got to see you sing Happy Birthday. Will Benton, good morning. Brian Robert. Marsha and the Bear. It's an animated show on Netflix. I don't know what y'all talking about. Chris Royce, we're 8-2. We are not going to Atlanta. I have no chance at the playoffs. I don't care if we're number 7. We will not be in. Honestly, Chris, that's probably right. I just ultimately when the committee will do what they want, and they'll likely put in a one-loss conference champ. If either West Virginia or Oklahoma ends up as a one-loss Big 12 champ, or if Washington State ends up as a one-loss conference champ, they're in. Notre Dame is rolling. I know people like to crap on Notre Dame, and I do too, because I don't like them. But they're a good football team this year. Like, they're a pretty athletic. Like, they're worthy of being where they are. It's not like in years past where they got in because of their name brand and got housed. I remember that happened in 05 and 06. 05, they got crushed by Ohio State in the Fiesta Bowl. Next year, LSU crushed them in the Sugar Bowl. They just weren't athletically comparable. This team is. Home Depot.
Marshall.
But what you really meant to say is Mom Show.
Marshall.
What are you saying, Marsha? I don't know what you're saying, baby. But do you think that's funny?
Mama.
Mama?
Home Depot.
Home Depot. All right, we're about to finish up Dad's show here in a minute, bud. Been at this for an hour. About to finish this thing up. I think they're saving their offense, their explosive offense, till a serious game. I hope you're not serious. John Wagley, good morning. Let's see. Troy Aber, did you hear Jordan Rogers say the offense was clicking? I did not, and I don't know what he's talking about. A lot of times, maybe I do think sometimes those guys, like, because I think sometimes they feel like they have to say polite things because they sit down and they meet with the coaches, and I'm not saying that they're giving you a completely purple and gold sunglasses opinion, but I think sometimes they are going to handle it with kid gloves because they try to be more impartial. Hey, buddy. What? What is that? Woo!
Seat.
Okay. Seat and Fresh Market. But really he meant go to Calandro's and get some Boudreaux's Bloody Mary mix or Margarita mix. Hey. You strumming over there, duder? What's going on? That is beautiful, Drew. That is actually very good rhythm. 2, 3. Elma Ducks. Okay. Our mornings are always very quiet and peaceful. Appreciate y'all. What in the whole entire hell is he watching? It's talking about Rogers. Scott Zachary, Joey DeStefano, good morning. Let's see. The offense is trash. I don't care what we do. Today's another day on the path to another Lombardi for the black and gold. Who dat? Amen, Troy. I'm interested about the Saints today. Mike D brought up a good point on Thursday. I think he's right. You know, when you're the Saints and you've come through this grind that they've come through, where you had the big game against Minnesota, you had the big game against the Rams. You know, you had all of these these big emotional games, and now it's like, you exhale and it's a noon game against Cincinnati in the cold. Do you let down a little bit? It's interesting to see that as a 5-point spread. No AJ Green, I think, is huge for the Saints today. Just go take care of your business. November, cold weather game in Cincinnati. No rain in the forecast or anything like that, but should be cold. See how they do. Let's see, Gus Johnson is the worst announcer. He's wrong on half the calls and gets so uber excited for every play with his screaming. Some people love that, though, Brian. It's not really my taste, but some people love that. All right, let's see. Mason asking about why LSU hasn't had dominant defensive linemen. They've recruited some guys. I would say Brockers was the last first rounder they had, right?
Mama.
Logan was drafted in the
Mama.
3rd round. Mama. And then you had Gotcha in round 5. They've had some dudes, man. There's not enough of them. Yeah. And not enough of them pan out, Like, they signed Anthony Johnson. He was the best defensive lineman in the country. Didn't pan out. Ego Ferguson, 5-star. Played okay. Wasn't great. Lockcher was a 4-star. Heron, remember Macadius Bain was another big guy that thought a lot of. Who was the guy, the unicorn, the big fat kid who was here for a minute and then they kicked him off the team twice. Trevante Valentine. I mean, you've had some of these guys come through, man. You just haven't developed them. Or maximized them while they're here. Everybody in the country wanted Rashard Lawrence. Ed Alexander was a big-time prospect. These were top 5 defensive linemen in the country when you signed them. I mean, you got to develop them and maximize them. And maybe in part it's because they're running 3-4 and not 4-3, and so you're seeing more production from linebackers. And there's probably some validity there. But anyway. All right, let's wrap this up, y'all, so I can go get this kid dressed and get about our Sunday, and wish y'all all a very happy Sunday as well. So, as always, thank you very much for watching Morning Scone, brought to you by Boudreaux's, boudreauxmix.com, boudreauxmix.com. If you're in Baton Rouge, they got Alexander's, Calvin's, Calandro's, Calvin's, Mid-City Craft Wine and Brew. What? Guh? Oh, Scone. Is that what you wanted? Hey, Drew. Let me ask you something. Awabasans? Hey. Kalakai. Let me ask you a question. Is that how you look normally? Peekaboo. One. But what about... Let's see how Drew looks like that.
How deep both?
Do you have flowers on your hair? One? Hey, I have a question for you. Do you want to go to Home Depot? Or do you want to go with Daddy and we'll get breakfast for Mommy? Awabasan. What about that one? What is that one going to do? Oh, that's cool. Look at you, cool kid.
Bee-boo.
Tap on the glasses.
Bee-boo.
Hey, peekaboo.
Mom. Awabasa.
Okay.
Awabasa.
Y'all have a great Sunday. Check out Boudreaux's. That's a big yawn there, bud. We'll see y'all tomorrow for Morning Scone.